Hi, my name is Catherine Schaff-Palms, and my project this semester is on the book The Human Chord, written by Algernon Blackwood, and published in London in 1910. I picked Blackwood because he is one of my favorite authors and has been for many years. He's fairly obscure here in the States, a little bit less so in England, where he was better known to begin with. The purpose is to share one of his works and maybe to find others who might want to explore a little bit more. He is worth reading. There are a lot of short stories and a few novels, generally either a kind of naturalistic horror full of this creeping dread that's really quite effective, or very light, whimsical fantasies, and he manages to write both of them very well. Since most of them are short stories, they're not a huge investment of time to begin with until you decide whether or not you're actually interested. The search for resources to work with for this project revealed a number of little snippets of his life that came together like an incomplete puzzle, but the picture that emerged was really quite fascinating. There were reviews for his books in the New York Times. This is actually a link to one of them. There are travelogues in The Spectator, short stories in magazines for adults and children. There was an autobiography he wrote that covers the first 30 years of his life to about 1900. It goes from this privileged English childhood and his first exposure to Indian philosophy and religion to being sent as a young man to North America, where he encountered settings and themes that would appear in later works along with this Indian philosophy. He returned to England around 1900, about the age of 30, and joined the Order of the Golden Dawn with William Butler Yeats. It's this kind of occult studies group. He may have also been in a gambling club with Winston Churchill. During World War I, he wrote propaganda, drove an ambulance, and towards the end of the war he actually served as a spy. And towards the end of his life, he recorded stories for the BBC radio in the 40s and the very early 50s. He died in 51 or 52, I think. He also managed to win the Commander of the British Empire. But as I was looking at these aspects of his life and piecing them together, I began to recognize parts of him in characters that he wrote. Most notably, actually, in the main character in The Human Chord, Robert Spin Robin. All of his stories embrace a philosophy that reveres nature and values innocence and wonder and love. It's easy enough to see how that lends itself well to the whimsical stories, but the same ideas feed into the horror, where it shows what can happen when those values are perverted or denied in some way. And The Human Chord shows what can happen when the love of nature and scholarship and study is used for personal gain and contrasted with the power of love. So it actually reads a little bit more like a philosophical treatise with a plot, which is an interesting route to take, and it was really quite enjoyable. But have fun and enjoy looking through the links. I provided several of the references. Some of them are relevant to the book, some of them really aren't, but they're all interesting on the bibliographies, references, and other resources section. Some of the links you will have to have the Kent VPN up. Anything with the New York Times listed, it is through the ProQuest database, so those all require the VPN. But have fun, and I hope you find something else to enjoy as much as I do. Thank you.